Texas Longhorns 21-13 last season. As they begin this transition year, going from the big bad Big 12 into the SEC. And tonight, taking on the Big 10. And that is Thornton right on cue. Getting the party started, the junior out of Fairburn, Georgia.
And we talked about Thornton and his importance. Has been a captain for this team since his freshman year, which is unheard of. And gets it done, knocking down threes, which is a point of emphasis this year for the Buckeyes.
One big missing piece for Texas. No Tremont Mark. He's out with a right ankle injury. You can make a pretty good argument. He's probably their second best player. Everything he brings, but unavailable for Texas. And Rodney Terry to start the season, and a good start for the Buckeyes. A turnaround by Micah Parrish, the fifth-year senior out of Detroit.
And the Buckeyes put in the Longhorns on their heels early. Coach Terry talked about their need to guard at the guard position. And right now, the Buckeyes have it going in the backcourt.
Tre Johnson missed on the corner three. Parrish going to get him reset.
Bradshaw can knock down threes. Transfer from Kentucky. Very skilled on the perimeter.
Parrish rips it through from deep.
And you see the energy and the pace that we were talking about. Diebler, last year the team was one of the slowest teams in all of college basketball. This year the emphasis is playing fast on the offensive end.
Tre Johnson, some of the handles and what he can do, but unable to finish. And Texas right now still looking for their first points, nearly 2 minutes into the game. Open look for Bradshaw, misses wide left. And the rebound tracked down underneath by Kendall Weaver.
Now make no mistake, this is how Texas wants to play. They want to play fast as well. Certainly both teams looking to play with great tempo.
This is Arthur Kaluma gets the Longhorns their first points.
And Kaluma doing it mid-range. The mid-range game is very much alive, doing a great job slowing down, getting to his spot.
Parrish hasn't been bashful here at the start. But Bradshaw took a hip check to the deck, no whistle. Pope, transition three. This is wildly underneath, and this is going to be a traveling violation against Kaluma. Making his third collegiate stop. Started at Creighton, then Kansas State. There's Jake Diebler. Took over for Chris Holtman, who was fired last February the 14th of last year. Diebler, who grew up about 2 hours north of Columbus, northwest part of the state, former collegiate point guard, of course, at Valparaiso, played for Homer Drew there, and really fulfilling his dream job, taking over the helm of this Ohio State program on a full-time basis. Bradshaw from deep, a little bit short, and the rebound by Shedrick.
Ohio State, when Diebler took over, they led the Big Ten in defensive efficiency once he took over last season. So an area of improvement mid-season, and certainly trying to build upon that this year with this Buckeye ball club.
And the Buckeyes being physical with Tre Johnson early, not allowing him to settle in, getting his shot. As I'm silenced by Tre Johnson. Tre Johnson says, slow down, I do this.
I think he heard you, Candace.
Tre Johnson, the freshman out of Garland, Texas. He was the consensus fifth-ranked player in the 2024 class. And meantime, this hot shooting start for Ohio State continues. Michi Johnson beginning his second tour of duty with this Ohio State program. Johnson trying on another deep three. And the Buckeyes looking to push. Johnson's pass underneath, intended for Bradshaw. The officials say Texas ball looked like it was deflected, but the officials are going to give it to the Longhorns.
Yeah, I thought it was deflected too, but on that last play, after Candace Parker made that comment, you saw Tre Johnson knock down that difficult corner three with the hand in the face. That young man is very, very talented, ladies and gentlemen.
One thing about Ohio State, guys, they were not a good transition offensive team last year. Good-looking mid-range game that time. Jordan Pope. First year at Texas for Pope. Last 2 years at Oregon State. One of the new pieces for this Texas program. Corner pocket three at Ohio State. Devin Royal, and everyone getting into the party early in this game.
And Texas, in this offseason, realized that they had to go get bigger in the backcourt. And so far, you know, defending the three-point line last year was difficult. And so far, with Ohio State up 14-7, they need to talk about it a little bit in this timeout.
Yeah, everyone you talk to, Taylor, within this program talks about what a grinder he is, a worker, a gym rat, everything you want from a first-year player with his skill set. As he takes his first little baby steps into his college basketball career here in Las Vegas.
And, you know, I think it's interesting because I think everybody focuses on the first game, but this is a whole season. It's about getting better, evolving, and Kaluma gets the two, but everything isn't all or nothing in the first game. It's about learning and adapting.
Sean Stewart, the Duke transfer, has checked into the game for Ohio State. Buckeyes turn it over. Johnson in the transition with the fluidity to his game. So smooth all the way to the cup. Three-point game.
Great composure there. Stewart coming over to try to block that, but Johnson just so crafty with his shot-making ability.
Bruce Thornton probing the defense, steps back and bangs in a three.
It's a confident young man right there. Wow.
Thornton last year averaged just under 16 points per game. He was only a 33% three-point shooter. But he is going off to a hot start here in Vegas. Buckeyes, meantime, 6 of 9 overall from the field. And as Kendall Weaver takes a little bit of a body bump, going to shoot 2 free throws here. With the Longhorns in a 6-point hole, the officials get Michi Johnson for his first personal.
And thus far, Texas Longhorns offense in the half court, I love that. You feed the post and you cut off the post. It's really hard to guard when the ball goes inside as a weak side defender, and Weaver doing a great job of taking advantage of that.
There's Rodney Terry, 3rd season at Texas. Of course, had that first stint as an assistant coach, 9 years under the great Rick Barnes. Eventually left 10 years as a head coach at Fresno, and then the second stop at UTEP. Eventually lured back to UT by Chris Beard when Beard was hired. And it has been Rodney Terry. What a run he had as the interim coach. Had that deep run through the NCAA tournament. Eventually won the job full-time, and he's got this program now headed back in the right direction.
That was a deep run. They obviously lost in the Elite Eight there to Miami a few years ago, but has certainly shown that he's more than capable, not just a great recruiter, but has been able to have great success here with this Texas ball club. And interesting, an experienced team this year, along with Tre Johnson. It should be interesting to see what this team can achieve with all this talent.
Here's Glover, first look at him tonight. This is John Mobley Jr., shot clock at 6. Stewart, mid-range J, a little bit too much. And Texas controls with Zarek Onyema, and then Texas turns it over at the other end.
And what a luxury to have now with Coach Terry, 2 transfers coming in, and Pope and Larry both can run the point guard position. You get different game speed out of both. I think Larry is more of a set you up point guard. Pope can score from that point guard position. So it's a luxury. I mean, they have backcourt depth on the Longhorns.
And experience. Both those guys have played a lot of basketball. And right now, some turnovers on both ends for both teams.
So we mentioned the transition for Rodney Terry in this Texas program, going from the Big 12, the rugged Big 12 conference, to the SEC. You see some of the new faces in this program. And you said, Coach, what do you think making that switch? You said from one frying pan to the next.
It doesn't get much easier.
No, it does not.
The Big 12 has really emerged as one of the top conferences, if not the top conference in men's college basketball.
Texas, some of that ruggedness that they've got on the interior. Onyema. And a call here against Ohio State at the 13:28 mark of the first half.
And Kaluma just demonstrating that athleticism from that 3 position. He's done a great job keeping plays alive, getting extra possessions. guard position is a I won't say an easy spot to rebound from, but you know, when you time it right, you get a running start in the offense, able to get some extra possessions for your team.
Well, most guards don't like to defend against rebounders, so you make a great point.
Corner three that time from Jason Kent. So both offenses have gotten a little cold here last couple of minutes. Wes Glover now handles the point, the 5th-year senior out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Multiple collegiate stops. Back to Glover on the wing. They're going to reset to Mobley. He'll fly and buries it. Deep shot from the freshman.
That was deep range right there. His nickname is the Sniper. He looked like a sniper there on that one. Wow.
4-star recruit out of Reynoldsburg, Ohio. He grew up east of Columbus. He actually played 3 years of high school ball here in Vegas at Bishop Gorman. 3-pointer there from Pope, a little bit short.
He might pull again.
Here comes the sniper in tight. Misses, and the putback. Looks like we're going to get 2 free throws here. As Ohio State crashing the offensive glass with Evan Mahaffey. And he's going to shoot 2 to try to push this thing to a 9-point Ohio State lead. As Jake Diebler goes a little bit deeper into his rotation. The 2024 Hall of Fame Series is brought to you by Las Vegas. Whatever you go for, go all. Great to have you with us. T-Mobile Arena here on the Vegas Strip. Spiro Ditas, Candace Parker, the Hall of Famer Grant Hill, Taylor Rooks, rest of our TNT crew, our producer Sean Gerchikoff, Jonathan Bywaters, our director. Happy to have you with us.
And Spiro, you talked about Ohio State and Jake Diebler going deep into his bench. If you're going to play fast and play up-tempo with pace, you got to use all your body. So making sure you give maximum effort while you're out there, and of course have opportunity to rest when you're tired.
Now, Diebler has already gone 10 players deep. Early part of the season, trying to figure out what he's got as the Buckeyes able to protect the defensive glass. Austin Parks, the sophomore, another Ohio kid, getting his hands dirty.
And I was here yesterday at practice. You guys weren't, but I showed up for practice. And I tell you, Jake Diebler did a fantastic job. Was able to put in a lot of things, get a lot of things accomplished with the energy in the practice. He even jumped in and got into some drills, bringing the energy as a coach, and certainly his team following his lead.
You were the kid that raised your hand in class and asked if we were turning in our homework today. Huh? That was G Hill.
You know, if I had my own plane, I probably would have been here yesterday.
That's true.
Well, yeah.
That's true.
Ohio State. No comeback, no response.
Yeah,
okay.
Zero. No, but I think it's very interesting, especially in today's basketball. If you look at the amount of newcomers and transfers that we're going to see across the board in college basketball, and the chance and opportunity for a program to reinvent the way that they play based off personnel every year.
Boy, good looking stroke from the corner. That's Julian Larry, graduate transfer out of Indiana State.
And you're going to hear that a lot. Graduate transfer, newcomer.
Pass.
Parks, beautiful roll to the cup. Couldn't finish. Mahaffey got the offensive rebound. Back out, they reset to Glover, and then it's poked away. Pope on the run, the spin, body's bumping, and it's last touched by the Buckeyes underneath. For the Texas Longhorns. Number 19 in the country, but they're getting pushed here in Vegas. Ohio State showing that they belong on TNT.
They got a little chip on their shoulders, you know. They were picked to finish 8th in the Big Ten. They feel like they have, as you see, Tre Johnson, who is just an old school scorer, do it at all levels. But Ohio State thinks that people are underestimating this year, and they're playing like a team that has something to prove.
They look like they're a well-balanced team. Boy, beautiful roll to the cup by Bradshaw. Good challenge inside. And then on the dive, it's Micah Parrish. And he's going to earn himself a trip at the free throw line.
And I like that set out of a timeout. It created a whole side opening there. Bradshaw, a little confrontation at the rim. Kent coming over, making a play without fouling. And these two guys getting up there and couldn't convert, but Parrish able to draw a foul and get to the free throw line.
And Grant, you know the thing I love is Coach Diebler knows Texas Longhorns are going to hedge. So what do? You clear out the backside, and you get your big man a nice dunk. On that play, didn't finish, but I think that's what you have to do against a hedging defense and aggressive defense like the Longhorns like to play.
Micah Parrish, born in Detroit, 50-year kid. Started his collegiate journey at Oakland. Last 2 years at San Diego State. Really strong wing defender. Former Horizon League all-defensive team selection. Brings a lot at both ends of the floor to this Ohio State team. Three-pointer from Kaluma, no good. And tracked down by Parrish.
Parrish has the challenge of trying to defend Tre Johnson here tonight.
Parrish already is hit the three. And they get him reset. Michi Johnson knifing in, up and under. Boy, everything but the finish. And then it's last touch by Texas.
And Michi Johnson, second team All-SEC last season. Led South Carolina in scoring last year and can shoot threes, but also get to the rim. Acrobatics, just couldn't convert there, but he can flat out score.
Inbounder Thornton gets it into Johnson. They're going to reset as we come up on the midway point of this first half. Ohio State, a team that went 22-14 last year. They missed the tournament, but they got to the NIT. Then they get back into the dance as Jake Diebler begins his first full season at the helm of this program. Bad miss that time from Parrish. And Ohio State's lead now stuck at 4.
I thought that was great defense there. Great defensive possession by Texas. Multiple efforts, and as you said, forcing a tough shot attempt there by Ohio State. So Texas came out a little bit on their heels to start the game, but have inched back into it, really getting it done on the defensive end.
So Rodney Terry pacing in front of that Texas bench. His defense is tightened up a little bit here. Ohio State has missed its last 5 shots. This is Kaluma trying to turn the corner. That's a tough mid-range pull-up, and it's well short. So Texas now from the field is 7 of 18 shooting. Thornton against Johnson. Fights his way into the paint. Now they're going to reset to Parrish. Mobley. Boy, doesn't need much daylight.
And you
Second
talk about
three for the freshman.
You talk about off the bounce. You talk about in the arena range. Mobley, you said the sniper, Grant? That's what you said?
That's his nickname, yeah.
Yeah, then they got something with that kid. What a stroke. Johnson just barely nicks the front end of the rim, and it heads back to the Buckeyes.
And right here, handoff, delayed pass, step back, an inch. An inch to get that off. Mobley.
And that was actually decent defense there by Weaver. He chased him over the screen. And Mobley able to create a little bit of separation. Clearly doesn't need that much space, as you said, to get a shot off.
You call that a layup. That's what you call it.
Yeah, yes. You see Ohio State on this 5-out offense, 5 guys on the perimeter.
A little mid-range shot coming around the screen from Michi Johnson. So 7-point Ohio State lead as we cross the 9-minute mark. Shedrick from deep. And Texas just can't get that three-point shooting straight. They're 2 of 10 from the arc. Johnson backing down Larry. Mobley, splash! John Mobley is lighting up the Vegas Strip. 10-point Ohio State lead.
Wow.
You look right here. In the gym range, that's what we call it. I see you, Mobley Jr.
Obviously a point of emphasis this year, Jake Diebler, and having that young man as a freshman. No fear, no hesitation, all confidence. He shot those like he's shot those plenty times before in practice, Mr. Mobley.
Well, Grant, as a freshman, you want to come out and see your first shot go down, but to see those go down with ease, Longhorns could be in for a long night.
Yeah, wow. You want to see shots go down, easy shots. I mean, he's coming in off the bench firing.
Arthur Kaluma bottled up. They're going to reset here. Johnson feeds the post. This is Shedrick inside, misses the hook, trying to tip it home, and they come up empty again. Taylor, you were eavesdropping in on Rodney Terry's timeout huddle. What did you hear?
Yes, coach was telling his guys, get some paint shots, make some threes, take this one possession at a time. He said to go out there and execute. He also added that they actually can't guard them, but they're letting them off the hook with their decision making, and was just trying to pump up his guys in that huddle, Sparrow.
Taylor, they got to find a way to get some stops. Michi Johnson on a 3, 10 straight points for the Buckeyes, and suddenly it's a 13-point game as we come up on the 7-minute mark. Thornton, a little bit too much this week, and over the back against Bradshaw. And the basketball back to Texas.
And when Ohio State runs their offense, gets the ball moving around the perimeter, it creates those open three-point opportunities. That last one, Thornton went a little one-on-one there. But on the flip side, Texas, a little too much one-on-one play themselves. They got to run their offense, get this defense to move and shift, and that will create the scoring opportunities on this end.
Texas has not scored in nearly 4.5 minutes. Longhorns reset with Pope. There's Johnson, the freshman, coming around his screen. This will be a reach and foul against Mobley Jr.
And I do agree with you, Grant. Like, the Longhorns aren't making the Buckeyes play defense into the clock. It was come down, get a shot up, one-on-one. You see on that possession, when the ball goes side to side and you make the Buckeyes defense move, you get rewarded with a foul, and now they have another opportunity.
Johnson underneath, and on the bobble, Caden Shedrick is whistled for a traveling violation, and it's another Texas turnover.
Well, Michi Johnson Jr. was coming over to rotate low, and I think that caused the turnover there. Shedrick trying to gather himself, call for that walk.
Texas team that went 21-13 last year. They finished the season 28th in the net ranking. Didn't have a good showing in the Big 12 tournament, losing the opener to K-State, but they did get into the big dance as a 7 seed before eventually getting to the second round before their season came up a little bit short.
And there again, Texas taking a quick contested jump shot. I don't know if that's what Coach Terry wants on the offensive end. I think Texas wants to play fast, don't get me wrong. But then again, right here, Thornton making the right play, being able to find a cleared out post player in Stewart, and they've taken advantage of that. They haven't capitalized on it yet. They've gotten to the free throw line, but they're really doing a great job of clearing out Texas's defense, and because they hedge, being able to find the roller.
You know, Candace, you talked about Texas and just the offense right now and struggling, kind of finding their rhythm. Look, they lost 10 players to graduation or transfers, 6 players returning from last year, 10 newcomers. And sometimes when you have all this change with teams, and certainly as we're seeing in the new age of college basketball, it takes a minute to build that chemistry and get comfortable with one another. And was I right with the numbers?
Well, Grant, I have a rebuttal because the Buckeyes have 9 newcomers, 5 transfers, and only 7 returners. So I think a lot of college basketball, this is a new landscape in college basketball.
So how do you adjust to it? That's the thing. You have to.
I think you got to adjust your identity and you got to establish it. And Coach Terry's talked about it. They're trying to establish what their identity is going to be in November.
I like when Candace tries to one-up you like that.
It's like a rebuttal. I mean,
15-point Ohio State lead with 6:08 left to play in this opening half. Texas has missed 9 straight shots. Trying to figure it out offensively. Their shooting percentage now is down to 7 of 25, a 28% clip. Devin Royal in the interior. As Ohio State in the midst of this 12-0 spurt. Who does Texas turn to for offense? They're going to get Sean Stewart here on a push as he defends the post against Shedrick.
Well, we talk about Texas and their execution, but you got to give credit to Ohio State. I mean, their defensive intensity. I mean, at times it looks like there's 6-7 guys out there, just active hands, active feet, and that's what happens when you rotate and play 10 guys. You can give maximum effort and understand you're going to get breaks. from time to time out there.
Tre Johnson against Meechie Johnson. What a matchup. The freshman, the spin. Shedrick is there. Boy, badly needed bucket for the Longhorns. First points in nearly 6 minutes. Meechie Johnson pulls. And Weaver clears. Ahead of the pack, here comes Kaluma. Euro step. He's going to shoot free throws. So Arthur Kaluma, the K-State transfer, headed to the free throw line. Oh, the match returns this fall with another star-studded cast. Mark Wahlberg, Charles Barkley, Bill Murray, and more. Tee it up in the Match Superstars, November the 21st and 22nd on TNT and Max.
And I think if you're the Longhorns, you look at the last couple possessions and you see success. And the ball has moved a bit. And then in this last possession, Kaluma getting the rebound, getting out in transition and playing fast. Now, to Texas's credit, they have been unhealthy this preseason, into the summer. So they haven't had a full lineup this whole time of practice. It'll be 2 guys in, 2 guys out. Now they have Mark out right now. So you think about, what Texas has been playing with and trying to steady the ship in this first half with sometimes lineups that probably haven't seen much time together.
Tremont Mark, first year at Texas in this program after 1 year at Arkansas, 3 years at Houston. But, you saw him in that boot, right ankle. Him and Candace in a walking boot tonight. Candace playing hurt.
Something like that. Something like that. This job is a lot easier playing in a boot than his.
12-point game, drive and kick. Meechie Johnson working against Weaver to the cup, and Weaver got a fingertip on it. Up the floor, Larry Johnson transition 3, and he buries it.
Getting a stop out in transition, had numbers. Johnson with that trailer 3, maybe some momentum here now for Texas.
Longhorns respond after that 12-0 Buckeyes run. They have scored 6 unanswered points. Thornton.
Good pass.
Underneath, boy, beautiful backdoor cut, but Royal couldn't finish. Had a great look at it, but made that a little bit more difficult than he had to.
They're letting them play right now, allowing them to be physical, giving the advantage to the defense both ways.
Ooh.
To be young.
I was torn everything. Torn my quad and everything as that happened.
Kaluma like a road grader on an offensive foul. And that's going to be Kaluma's first.
Right there, Thornton. He's like a fullback right there, taking a couple cut. Look at this. This is letting him play. Third time's the charm, drawing that foul. Right now, the physicality on display on both ends with both teams.
Kaluma with some of that 1990s body bumping on the box. Ooh. So a 9-point game with 4:06 to play.
I'm getting flashbacks.
Ohio State Buckeyes, 22 wins last season. Coaching change in the middle part of February. Jake Biebler took over the reins as the interim. And that begins his first full season at the controls of this Ohio State men's program. Ohio State comes up empty on that trip, so Texas starting to show some signs of life. Within 9 on TNT. Must be nice. 3:48 left to play, first half.
Did you see Vince Carter, though, with his own plane at Air Canada? Obviously, having his jersey retired with the Raptors.
Congratulations,
Big
Vince.
time. Big time. What an emotional scene that was for Vince. Basketball city that he built up in Toronto. This is Meechie Johnson, lets it fly. Offensive rebound falling right into the lap of Glover. So Ohio State's offense, guys, has cooled off a little bit here last couple of minutes.
Well, you live by the 3 and you survive by it and you die by it. 9 for 14, 10 of 27. Durant said it, 9 of their 10 field goals are 3s.
Clean strip, and then Johnson has his pocket picked. Meanwhile, Ohio State has missed 8 straight shots. Meechie Johnson underneath, poked away. Glover, bodies all over the place.
Looked like he was fouled there on that shot attempt.
Then the officials letting him play through the contact. Tre Johnson puts it on the deck. Boy, taking contact.
You talk about a 3-level scorer. We've seen him get to the rack, we've seen him get to the mid-range, and we've seen him knock down easily from beyond the arc.
You know, one thing about Texas guys, you go back since the departure of Kevin Durant, they haven't had too many elite physical wing players. Tre Johnson, boy, he checks that box. Oh. Kaluma, hard put back.
Ooh.
And if you're the Buckeyes, you got to be careful here. Longhorns cut this lead to 5.
10 straight points for Texas. Brand new game here in Vegas. And Texas is taking over the game.
So also the physicality and the defensive presence of Texas. And it really has been Johnson and Kaluma offensively taking over inside and outside.
Ohio State has missed 11 straight shots. Thornton may have traveled, gets it out to the corner. Big three. Micah Parrish, who started the night hot, gets the Buckeyes their first points in 4.5 minutes. And we get the final 2 minutes here before halftime. Texas Longhorns, number 19 team in the country. Larry gets it to Johnson, he'll fire, and buries another three.
And you talk about a shot maker, just coming down, calm, cool, and collected, has settled into the game.
Five-point game, 90 seconds left. Thornton underneath to Stewart, spinning, and he's bumped and fouled in the paint.
And if you're Texas and you're looking at this right here, as Thornton comes down, gets to the paint, and kicks out to Parrish for a nice three, where they have lived all night. If you talk about 11 for 32 from the field, but 10 of 17 from beyond the arc. If Texas is looking at this and the Buckeyes have hit 10 threes in the first half, and they're only down by 5, I think they're in a good position.
Yeah, you don't think the Buckeyes can, as Royal knocks down a nice mid-range shot, but yeah, you're right. If you're Texas, can they keep up? Can they keep shooting and scoring the ball from the perimeter, from the three-point line like that? And let's be honest, a lot of those threes were contested threes. All of Mobley's threes were pretty much contested. So Texas is hanging in there and certainly getting it done on the defensive end here at this part of the game.
Inside of a minute left on Yema. Turn back.
Stewart with the huge rejection.
We got a Hall of Fame wedgie.
What a defensive recovery by Stewart, just as Onyema was about to throw it down.
Wow.
Stewart showing his athleticism, full display.
He led Duke last year in blocks rate, and second in steals rate as a freshman. A freakish athlete right there. To 9 at the rim.
Wow. Possession arrow gives it to Texas. Tre Johnson, 15 points, taking a little bit of contact. No. Offensive rebound, Kaluma, and he's fouled. It'll be a 1-and-1 here for Kaluma. The K-State transfer with 47.8 left in the half.
And Kaluma, again, from the guard position, doing a great job of getting extra possessions and getting himself to the free throw line.
Remember Kaluma those years at Creighton in that offense. What great versatility and toughness.
Let's take another look at that Sean Stewart block a couple of seconds ago.
Look at this, Grant, right here. You call this recovery. Stewart covering ground, timing it. There's a lot at stake there. You could be on a good highlight, or you could be on a bad highlight.
It takes courage to do that.
You know, Sean Stewart set the record at Duke for the biggest, tallest vertical leap in the history of that program, 36 inches.
Wow, Grant, you didn't have a 36-inch?
We didn't measure back in the day, back last century. But he surpassed Zion Williamson.
Unbelievable.
Can you believe that? Wow.
You got to be somewhere on that list.
We're going to do some research.
You had game hops?
Got a 9-second difference, shot to game clock. Thornton in the front court against Larry. This is Royal, the sophomore. Expected to be a big piece this year. A little bit too much velocity on that pass. Parks couldn't handle, and Ohio State turns it over with 13 seconds left in the half.
Yeah, in that play, I'd rather have the ball in Thornton's hand. Let him be the creator as the point guard. Royal trying to do a little too much. Spoke to Diebler yesterday. He talked about he felt Royal could take a step this year as a sophomore with his versatility. Certainly wants that possession back with that turnover.
Chess match continues between Terry and Diebler. Final 9 seconds of the half. Pope gets him set up with Larry. Back to Pope. 5 seconds. Larry looking for some daylight and launches. And that's going to get us to halftime here in Las Vegas. Suffocating Ohio State defense to get us to halftime with Ohio State holding a 7-point lead. 38-31, and Ohio State coming to play with the big boys as they take on number 19 Texas.
We got to continue to have better ball movement, getting that ball moving side to side. We got to have cutting. We're standing and watching too much right now.
Thanks so much. Back to you, Spiro.
All right, Taylor, Rodney Terry, Texas born and bred. Boy, what a start for the Buckeyes as they attack with Devin Royal, the sophomore out of Pickerington, Ohio.
And that's a way to get a paint point. To start the half, you can tell that was a point of emphasis.
Goes out of timeout, plays, out of half plays. Boy, really show you what the coaching staff can do. Texas trying to get their offense calibrated. Caden Shedrick, 7-point game.
And I like that. Go inside early. Get the big man some touches there. Ohio State playing him straight up. Shedrick showing some footwork inside.
Ohio State Buckeyes, 22-14 last season. Turbulent year for this program. The coaching change. But boy, what an offseason of recruiting to get this thing retooled, and they look like they could be for real in the Big Ten this season. 7-point lead over number 19 Texas. Tre Johnson, deep shot.
That was Mobley range right there. But Tre Johnson continuing with his stellar play. You said it best. I mean, he can just flat out score. Professional score.
And you know, I think you also look at his pace at which he plays with. He doesn't look like he's being sped up when he has the ball.
Now, we asked Rodney Terry, what's he like to coach? He said he's a no-nonsense kid, hard worker, and he actually made the comparison to Kevin Durant. Maybe not necessarily from a talent standpoint. You don't want to put those expectations on any first-year player, but just in terms of his work ethic, gym rat, the way he works at it, he's a grinder. He's got all the tools, Candace, that you started talking about at the top of the show, and we're seeing it all on full display here so far. Shot clock at 8. Michi Johnson sets the table for Parrish. Shot clock at 2. Look at Johnson. Clean strip.
And we talked the shoot around with Coach Rodney Terry. He said he wanted to challenge Johnson to take the challenge to be a two-way player, not just a great offensive player, but also on defense. And right there, Parrish could not score, couldn't even get the ball up to shoot it because of the quick hands of Johnson.
They got to hurry, just 1 second. Michi Johnson has to turn and fire. Boy, what a job to get it on the rim. And it's tracked down in the corner by Kendall Weaver. So Texas with possession within 4 as we play opening stages, second half. Weaver underneath, feeds the box. Shedrick over the top of Bradshaw. Really strong post defense from Bradshaw.
They're doing a good job of taking Shedrick's fluidity out of the post move. As a post move, he hit him, he bumped him, got him out of his stance. Had to throw up that shot.
Johnson slithers into the paint, up and under, dropping dimes. Beautiful setup underneath. And Mahaffey the recipient.
And already the Buckeyes have tied their 2-point field goals from the first half.
They're showing their offensive versatility here in this game.
And clearly they have made adjustments with Jake Diebler and their staff. That is Pope on a 3-point jack.
And that's needed. Pope's been rather quiet in this game. Only 5 points, but a scoring point guard more than capable of getting going.
All Pac-12 honorable mention last year for Oregon State was Pope. One of the key portal acquisitions for Rodney Terry in Texas. Here comes Parrish underneath. What a pass!
And twice in a row, dribble penetration. Nice drop-off pass. And the guards are attacking the closeouts, creating scoring opportunities for the Buckeyes inside.
So a 5-point Buckeyes lead. Just under 4 minutes gone by. Tre Johnson on a 3 left open, and this is going to be a loose ball foul against Ohio State.
And Ohio State.
And that play right here, attack, draw the defense, and great drop off by Parrish, showing that vision. Making the right read, and Diebler's team responding here out of half. Diebler's team, excuse me.
And Mobley Jr. back in the game after the hot hand 3 for 3 from beyond the arc, 9 points in the first half, and some from half court.
Tre Johnson picks up his second personal. He sits here for Jake Diebler. Pope, not that time from the corner. Ohio State controls with Micah Parrish, 50-year senior from Detroit. Into the paint, to the rack. Pretty scoop finish from Parrish.
In the first half, Parrish was settling for threes. I like how he's attacking now, getting downhill, and making plays for himself and or his teammates.
Tre Johnson barking to Weaver to cut. Instead, Weaver stays, misses on a 3. And there's going to be another loose ball foul against Ohio State. This time it's on Bruce Thornton. So Texas trying to lean on him a little bit on the offensive glass. We'll get a timeout.
For a team that, should I say, struggled to score in the paint in the first half. Knocked it down from beyond the arc. But he's doing that for them in the second half in a concerted effort to get more points in the paint.
And they struggled in general. They had really bad offensive stretches last year. This team just has a little bit more firepower. As Pope doesn't get the friendly bounce off the timeout, and the Longhorns come up empty. So Texas in a 7-point hole as we come up on the 15-minute mark of the second half. Thornton had a good look at it.
What a rebound.
Parrish, no. Look at Bradshaw all over the place.
Right now, relentless on the glass here. 2 straight offensive rebounds. And just outworking Ohio State here. I mean, that right there, just 2 hands and obviously reloads for the 3. The bigs right now just outworking the Longhorns.
Here comes the freshman. He's not done yet. John Mobley Jr. hit 3 threes in the first half, and he picks up where he left off.
I want to get the ball in his hands every possession.
And the only reason why he didn't hit more in the first half is because he didn't play anymore.
I think he may be getting some good run here in the second half as Ohio State whistled for the contact underneath.
Mobley Jr. Larry doing a great job of taking advantage of the freshman getting to the rim, but Mobley Jr. on the other end, quick release. He reminds me of somebody that I went to school with by the name of Chris Lofton. A familiar build, size, but boy, you talk about somebody that could just shoot the rock. And obviously seeing Mobley, he needs an inch. He needs not even a second to get his shot off.
Freshman out of Reynoldsburg, Ohio, east of Columbus. Mentioned his 3 years here in Vegas at the high school level at Bishop Gorman. He actually finished at Wasatch Academy in Utah. So he has taken a circuitous route back to his home state, playing for his hometown team of Ohio State. 9-point Buckeyes lead with Thornton working on the perimeter here against Larry. And we're going to get some contact here on the perimeter.
And it's one thing to do it in practice, in exhibition games, but to come out here your first game and go 4 for 4 from beyond the arc.
Well, it seems like the 4 times he's actually touched the ball, he shot it.
It's going to be a 5-second violation. My goodness.
And right there, Diebler not happy, just did not execute correctly there. A mental mistake leading to a turnover.
Yeah, neat to see Jake coaching tonight. And now with the full-time reins of this program, his father Keith is in the stands here in Vegas. And this is going to be a backcourt violation. But Jake comes from a rich lineage of basketball men. His father Keith coached at the high school level in Ohio for nearly 50 years. Here he is, Keith Diebler. Of course, his other son John played at Ohio State. Jake talked about what it was like to see his brother put that Ohio State jersey on. He said it was really when his love affair for the school started. And who could have ever dreamt that he would become a head coach in Columbus? Boy, that shot from Mobley nearly went. It's on Pope. And boy, if I'm Jake Diebler, I'm not taking this kid off the floor again.
Well, they got up in him. You know, obviously he's hot right now. You want to make him drive. And that was a strong move. Almost went in, almost earned a 3-point play opportunity the hard way. But I like the confidence of this young man. Candace, you said it best, doesn't need much space or time. And just great confidence. Only 7 minutes that first half.
An efficient 7 minutes.
Very efficient.
So Mobley Jr. makes it an 11-point game, 51-40 as we cross the 14-minute mark. And the freshman's got 14. We get contact here at the other end as Texas trying to push the pace a little bit to get their offense jump-started.
And Larry right here taking offense to Mobley Jr. putting on the Jets. He had ill intentions on that drive to the basket, but they're putting Mobley at the top of the key, isolating and just going to work. Larry getting to the free throw line.
The 2024 Hall of Fame Series is brought to you by Las Vegas. Whatever you go for, go all. T-Mobile Arena here on the Vegas Strip. Spiro Vitas, Candace Parker, Grant Hill, Taylor Rooks. Our producer Sean Gerchikoff, Jonathan Bywater's our director, rest of our TNT crew. As the curtain rises on a brand new college basketball season tonight. We saw South Carolina's women begin their title defense season earlier tonight with a win over Michigan. And which of these two teams is going to start their season with a win here? Tre Johnson working against Larry. Still plenty of time to shoot. Johnson covered. Boy, terrific defense from Larry getting into his chest. Bottles up Johnson underneath, and it's a turnover.
Yeah, good defense right there. Johnson was trying to probe, trying to find something. Everybody stayed at home. And right here on Larry did a great job just staying disciplined and committed and forcing this bad pass and turnover. Good defensive possession there by the Longhorns. Can they string together some more?
Texas Longhorns transitioning this year from the Big 12 to the SEC. All part of the massive realignment in collegiate sports. Tre Johnson baseline offering a little bit short. And the rebound corralled by Stewart.
Boy, Mobley. Johnson was right in him on the catch. Smart.
Tre Johnson. Stewart from deep. Ohio State is 11 of 21 from 3. Shooting it at a 52% clip from deep. Shedrick nowhere to go. Weaver elbow jump. Missed it. Offensive rebound, Kent, and he's going to head to the free throw line.
And right now, Texas taking a page out of Ohio State's book there, getting on the glass, a double team way out on the perimeter. And leaving Kent in there on Mobley. Mobley giving up height and strength there, and Kent, hard work paying off, getting to the free throw line.
When you go double the post, you leave your low man exposed a little bit. Weaver doing a good job of cutting.
Couple of substitutions here. Parks in for Jake Diebler. And Arthur Kaluma, who has been really good tonight for Rodney Terry, checks back in for the Longhorns. So Jason Kent, the graduate transfer, started collegiately at Bradley. Last 2 seasons at Indiana State. Last year, all Missouri Valley Conference second-team selection. And one of the top defensive players in that conference as well at Indiana State. And he has cut it to 7. Mobley on the attack. Trying to follow his own miss, and he touched it last.
He was just too close to the basket. Mobley, obviously they're playing him close, but attacking the rim there. I like the confidence in this young man, but a few possessions here, Ohio State has not scored. Give credit to this stellar defense for the Longhorns.
Texas, no field goals in 5 minutes. Kent.
A double wedgie in this game.
My goodness.
It's 2 of them things.
The Hall of Fame brings out the best.
Thanks, Spear. I was checking into the Texas huddle. He said, let's make this a 2-possession game right now. Coach Terry saying we are in better shape. Right now we are going to go for the lead. He also emphasized that Ohio State is struggling with split action and just wanted to encourage his guys to turn it up a notch.
All right, Taylor, they get a badly needed basket. Their first in more than 5 minutes. So despite their offensive struggles, guys, they look up. They're only down 5. As we come up on the 11-minute mark now left in the second half. Michi Johnson gets it into the corner. This is Thornton. Splash!
And Thornton just has to have the ball in his hands. He doesn't take bad shots. He doesn't turn it over. One of the highest assist to turnover ratios in NCAA last year. I mean, he's your guy. You want the ball in his hands.
It just makes winning plays, according to what Jake Diebler told us earlier tonight. Michi Johnson, open 3 won't go. So an 8-point game. Boy, beautiful dime inside. It's Kaluma. Boy, the pretty look from the freshman Johnson, and Kaluma with a chance at 3.
Yeah, Johnson in transition, not just to score, kind of a no-look bounce pass, froze the defense, and then to make matters worse, Michi Johnson Jr. reaching in a 3-point play. I love when the big man runs. You gotta reward him. Kaluma getting out in transition. You said it, Texas attached here if he makes this shot.
Boy, just think about what the ceiling is for this kid, Tre Johnson. Candace, you talked about pregame, how much you were looking forward to seeing him up close and personal for the first time. My goodness.
And I think, you can fall in love with the offensive end. He's smooth. He gets to his spots. He's a 3-level scorer. But defensively is what I've been impressed with. He is showing signs of being able to be an NBA player, not only on the offensive end of the ball, but also on the defensive end.
And boy, he's got that feistiness too, doesn't he? Competitive spirit. What was the other thing that Rodney Terry mentioned when he compared him to KD? That competitive fire that he has brought to this program. And he is wasting no time putting his imprint on things in his college basketball debut tonight. 5-point game as we approach the midway point of the second half. Here comes Lowry around a screen. Out to Kaluma. That's a 3. Texas now is 6 of 20 from the 3-point line. Thornton against Weaver. This is Parrish. And he is fouled on a 3-point shot by the freshman Johnson.
And Parrish was open on the catch, made it a little bit more difficult for himself putting the ball on the floor. But Johnson, you appreciate the contest. I think he got him a little bit on the arm right there. But Parrish, I thought he was open right away there. And is bailed out there by the officials.
Well, it's been a physical game, Grant. Been a lot of fouls, I feel like, that could have been called in this game. Then definitely the refs are just letting them play.
It's kind of like back when I was in college, we went to Knoxville to play. I mean, they let us play in the tournament.
That's what we do in Knoxville. We play
No,
basketball.
we didn't play Tennessee. I'm saying we played in the tournament.
Okay, because I'm like,
Knoxville.
listen, there's none of that weak foul calling that you get at Duke. At Tennessee, we play, okay? We roll the ball out there.
Am I going to have to separate you
There was
two?
a lot of emphasis on the Duke. Like, it was, you said it with force.
So Parrish makes this an 8-point game, 57-49 with 10-10 left in the second half. Larry against Glover. Outside, open three, Kent. And their three-point struggles continue. Here comes Thornton up top. Boy, beautifully broken up by Weaver. Brave kid. With Bradshaw getting ready to throw that thing down. Johnson fouled from deep.
And you can see that play developing. Johnson taking his time, getting his steps together, great awareness, and Thornton closing out, but a little contact there. Johnson, the gall to take that shot, the confidence. This man, as you said, has that competitive streak, something you can't teach.
It was interesting, Rodney Terry, we asked him about putting a team together, and he said, one thing we had in mind when we went to the transfer portal was figuring out which pieces would complement this kid. So building around a freshman. Everyone knew what an impact player he would be year one in this program. And as Rodney Terry tries to put all the pieces together for Texas.
And listen, shout out to KD, but I want to go back to that graphic. Tre Johnson just overtook the Slim Reaper, easy money sniper for most points in a debut. That says a lot about where Tre is offensively.
Oh, no question.
Thornton gets it out to Parrish. Slices into the paint, then he missed the layup. Boy, but the putback is right there as Royal. Right place, right time. And a sophomore, another Ohio kid. 7-point game.
And if you're Texas, you got to get the ball in the paint.
Weaver.
As Weaver knocks down the mid-range game, or have Tre Johnson touch it on that offensive possession. But Weaver making me wrong, Durant.
This is Parrish against Johnson. Out to Thornton, loses his footing. Weaver trying to tie him up, as is Larry. Officials say jump, and the possession arrow will keep it here with the Buckeyes.
Couldn't tell if Thornton sort of slipped or fell or was tackled there on that drive.
Yeah, just lost his footing.
He lost his footing there, okay.
So 11 seconds to shoot for the Buckeyes. Underneath, out of bounds, as the ball boys tend to some of the wetness on the court. Late substitution here. Rodney Terry's going to insert Shedrick. And Jason Kent is going to sit. Inbounders Glover. Into the corner. Open three from Royal. And up the floor comes Julian Larry. Texas Longhorns. How will this team fare in its first year in the SEC in a stacked conference? That is Weaver. Back-to-back buckets for UT. And just like that, it's a one-possession game here in Vegas. This is Thornton. Parrish. Stripped. Royal is there. Second time he has scored off a broken play. 5-point game.
And just has a nose for the basketball, as you said, Spiro, in the right place at the right time. That was a much-needed basket right there from Ohio State.
Boy, this kid Weaver suddenly has come alive for Rodney Terry and company. Had it stripped out of bounds underneath. Texas will have it when we come back. 5-point game on TNT.
Right away, who we are. Let's find out, are we as good as we think we are?
Shedrick coming with some heat.
Wow, that was impressive.
And just like that, it's back to 3. Parrish left open, and he bombs a triple.
Oh, and it looks like Tre Johnson's come up limping on that play.
That might be why Parrish was wide open.
Boy, what's the call here? A block. Glover a little bit late to get into defensive position, and now a 1-and-1 situation here for Texas. Another look at Johnson. Came up a little bit hobbled there, trying to fight through the screen. The right ankle, a little bit of a turn.
A little bit of a collision there. You're right. It seems to be okay right now.
Grant, as you said earlier, good to be young. My goodness.
They recover quickly.
So here's Kendall Weaver now at the free throw line. Misses. And Texas leaving some valuable points at the stripe. 6-point game as we cross the 7-minute mark. Johnson underneath to Royal. Exquisite pass from Parrish. And then at the other end, it's Johnson. Basket will not count. Contact before the shot.
And Johnson wanting the continuation. He wanted the and one on that play.
Get that in a few years, young man. But that last offensive possession from Ohio State, I mean, that's what you have to do. Run your stuff, get the defenses to shift. And once again, Royal making plays offensively. Looks like right now they may.
I think Parrish. Yeah, I think Parrish is asking for a review for a flail or an off arm.
Maybe elbowed as Johnson was going into that shot, trying to think about what could have happened on that play. I'm going to review it.
Our officiating crew here, Keith Kimball, Courtney Green, Don Bailey, as they go to the replay monitor here. 6:42 remaining in the second half. Chris Rastatter among the officials there peering in. Rastatter left of your screen, head of officials in college basketball.
And they're looking into a potential flagrant foul with the elbow up high. I'm wondering, when Johnson went into his move to gather, did he possibly elbow Parrish? That's what I'm assuming what they're checking for. See right here, he kind of.
Oh, he got him on the gather.
All right, so they do say it was a basketball move, so nothing extra.
He said 100% it was a basketball move. I like that decisiveness
right here
from our officiating crew.
Got him. Got him good.
Thankfully, everyone's okay. And Tre Johnson's going to step up to the free throw line here. 1-and-1 situation for the freshman. The consensus 5th-ranked player in the country in this incoming class of 2024. McDonald's All-American. And what a night. A historic night, it turns out. Most points ever scored by a freshman in their collegiate debut at Texas, surpassing the great Kevin Durant. And Rodney Terry may have had the inside track on this young man. Tre's father, Richard Jr., former player at Baylor, when Rodney Terry was actually an assistant on that staff. So he has watched this kid Tre grow up since he was a boy. And what a piece he's going to be for this Texas program. Ohio State, critical turnover as they try to protect this 7-point lead.
And Larry doing a great job of on-ball defense, pressure at the point of attack, causing some confusion for the Buckeyes.
Up the floor comes Julian Larry, another Texas kid out of Frisco. Weaver. Larry left open. A little bit too much. Rebound corralled by Thornton. And that Texas three-point shooting just hasn't been their night. 6 of 22 tonight. Thornton just terrific with his body position, the angles. 9-point lead.
And it reminds me as a point guard. Remember Jalen Brunson at Villanova would back you down, post you up. Has that strong frame, great patience, big-time move.
There's a corner three from Weaver. That won't go. Shedrick got a piece. And again, Texas with an empty possession. Boy, Ohio State looking to make an early season statement. What an opening night this would be for them. That
time again
is Royal.
Royal has showed up big for the Buckeyes, knocking down the huge three to put Ohio State up by 12 points on the Longhorns.
The top 10. It's going to be an exciting basketball season for sure. Can Danny Hurley, excuse me, I can't say Danny. Can Dan Hurley and his UConn Huskies do a three-peat? Incredible how dominant they were last year. Fun to watch.
You feeling good about your Dukies?
I feel great. I love that we're not ranked in the top 5. This is something to work for.
For big possession, and the freshman ain't done yet. Tre Johnson with 27 tonight.
He's doing it in so many ways. Off the dribble, off the attack, off of screens, catch and shoot.
Boy, just a massive shot for Texas. And the call here, offensive. So a made three, and then Shedrick getting himself in position. 2 critical sequences for Texas.
Right there, Stewart driving hard. Shedrick steps in there, feet outside the restricted area, takes the charge. And Stewart now has to sit as Bradshaw checks in. Stewart has 4 fouls.
Who does Texas turn to for offense here? Ooh. Weaver! Volleyball spiked out of bounds by Bradshaw.
Looked like Karch Karai right there with the slam.
Goodness, watch this. Weaver's done a great job getting in the paint. Bradshaw's got Mobley's back right here.
Bradshaw sending that into the front row of seats. My goodness. Inbounder is Pope. Now to Kent. And we're going to get a whistle here against Bradshaw. He got tangled up with Shedrick. Double bonus here as Shedrick is going to step to the line for 2. And that is the 4th on Aaron Bradshaw.
And the worst thing you can do for the Buckeyes with this lead right here is to allow Texas to score with the clock stopped.
Yeah, it looked like Shedrick tripped over somebody's feet there and kind of fell into Bradshaw. But you're right. I mean, you foul, you put him on the line, you don't waste any time off the clock. Certainly advantageous here for the Longhorns.
Caden Shedrick, the graduate transfer out of Holly Springs, North Carolina.
The Buckeyes in Texas playing a little back and forth, jockeying for offensive rebounding position.
You move, I move.
Yep, just like that.
Second year in the program for Shedrick after those 4 years under Tony Bennett in Virginia. For Texas nearly coming up with the backcourt steal. Mobley, shadowed by Weaver. They're going to reset to Thornton here. One of the elite ball handlers in the country.
Ohio State, 4 guards out there with Bradshaw. So valuing the basketball, 4 guys that can make plays off the bounce.
Here comes Thornton knifing in. He's just such a good decision maker with the basketball in his hands. Last year, 2nd in the country was Thornton in assist to turnover ratio. Foul charge here to Kent.
Kent's going to have to guard somebody smaller. Now he's matched up with Mobley Jr.
That was the 15th foul against Texas, so they've got one more to give. Thornton trying to create some space. Boy, this kid Weaver can be up. Look at Thornton. He goes left hand high off glass.
And right there, just patience. He's not going to turn it over. He's not going to make a bad play. The up and under finish with the left. Watch this, Grant, right here. We call this patience, and we also call this getting in the weight room.
Denise Daniels. Happy birthday, Denise.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
You're not going to sing?
Yeah.
I mean, your wife is Tamia. You're not going to sing?
Yeah, that has nothing to do with me.
Look at you pick up a couple notes.
Last time I noticed, Tamia could not dunk.
Oh, gosh. Here we go.
Big free throw there from Thornton. What a three-point play when his team needed something. Gets Ohio State's lead back to 10. Under 4 minutes left on this opening night of a new college basketball season. Tre Johnson out to Shedrick. He's going to fire off the front of the rim. Deflection here by Johnson. Ohio State has missed its last, has made its last 6 shots. As they've extended this thing now back to a double-digit lead. Parrish, boy, just barely gets it into Bradshaw. Buckeyes in no rush. Parrish. Johnson. Johnson accelerates. This is Parrish. They don't score, but they used a lot of clock. Here comes Pope. Johnson. Back of the rim and the rebound, Parrish. As they just didn't have enough supplemental scoring to help Tre Johnson down the stretch. You wonder if they've got anything left in the tank here.
Well, the key is you got to get up and pressure a bit. Thornton using time and then taking his time and doing that. Just steady.
It's been impressive how Ohio State has closed it out here these last 3 or 4 minutes. Offensively, defensively. Guys, this is a team that's determined to show that they belong in the conversation.
Longhorns with Pope handling. Weaver, Johnson, Shedrick, and Jason Kent. Here's Tre Johnson, who's been sensational. 27 points, now to Weaver. Mid-range J misses badly. Fight for the rebound, and it's last touched by Shedrick.
Not a great offensive possession there from Texas. They looked a little unsure of themselves. It certainly resulted into a tough shot attempt in Ohio State's basketball.
Buckeyes can't find anyone, and they do get the timeout. Jake Diebler barking towards the direction of Bradshaw. Felt like he could have gotten open there. He's Ohio State having a great night. It looked like Micah Parrish comes up a little bit hobbled there, favoring that left leg, and he goes into the Buckeyes locker room to take a closer look. That would put a damper on what has been just a terrific night for them. Ohio State turns it over here. 2:22 left to play.
And like that, Parrish is back. To be young.
Pope trying to get it to Weaver. Out to Pope. That's a 3. Offensive rebound, Shedrick. Couple of chances. Then it is Weaver. So a 10-point game with 2:07 remaining. Here's Thornton, who has scored the last 7 points for the Buckeyes. Make it 9.
Man, I was going to say, pull it out. The clock is your friend right there, but Thornton has been automatic here down the stretch, particularly in the paint where he's so efficient.
And decision-making. It just seems like...
It's going to be an illegal pick against Weaver. And we asked Jake Diebler about his lead player, Thornton, and he just said that the consistency with which this kid plays every single day, whether it's practice, could be just a drill, something they're repping. He sets the standard for our program. And you're seeing why he has become such an indispensable piece for this Ohio State program. 18 points for Thornton. He's 7 of 10 from the field, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. And 12 of his 18 have come in the second half tonight. Tre Johnson, a little bit too strong. Rebound Weaver. 70 seconds for a beautiful setup underneath. Shedrick off the feed from Johnson. But Texas looks up. They're still in a 10-point hole with under a minute left.
Right here, and they got to be careful with the ball across as Texas commits the foul on Thornton. But I think the Buckeyes did adjust, because you knew that they weren't going to continue to shoot at the clip that they were shooting at in the first half. But to be able to then go in at halftime and come out with a lob dunk to start the second half to set the tone that they wanted to get in the paint and they wanted to play inside and out.
They were 10 for 17 from 3 in that first half, which was incredible, as you said. Didn't take as many threes and just a little bit more balance offensively. But they showed a lot of toughness out here, I think. Mental toughness, defensive presence. Played a lot of guys. And multiple guys I thought stepped up and have played well. You know, we talked about Royal off the bench, making timely plays. Obviously, Thornton. You know, some three-point shooting from Michael Parrish. I mean, collectively as a group, getting the job done, and that's what you want if you're coach Jake Diebler.
And Devin Royal, whom you guys have been talking about, new career high tonight with his 16 points. A number of contributors for Jake Diebler. 12-point lead. Straightaway 3 from Pope won't go. And that really has been the story of the night for Texas. Just have not been able to consistently hit the 3 in this game. 7 of 28 are the Longhorns from distance.
A good majority of those have been contested threes.
And you think of Tre Johnson hitting 5 of those threes himself.
Definitely an early wake-up call for a Texas team. You know, number 19 in the preseason AP poll, but you consider what's ahead for them in the SEC, their first year in a new conference. And just consider how stacked that conference is. 9 teams out of the SEC are in the preseason AP poll. And it is not going to get any easier from here for the Longhorns. Micah Parrish in the corner. Final 11 seconds here in Vegas. Up the floor comes Larry. That'll make it an 8-point game, and that is going to do it. The Ohio State Buckeyes cross the country, and they put forth a very impressive win to begin their season, 80-72, as they knock off Texas, the number 19 team in the country.
And really just a statement game for this Buckeyes ball club. Trying to show that this is a new year, a new season for this team. And obviously a great test for them and great win early in the season.
Yeah, well, the Buckeyes came out firing to start. And I think that they were able to put the Longhorns on their heels off of just their offensive intention, their ability to knock down outside jump shots, and because of Thornton being able to get them in their offensive sets in the way that he was able to.
Boy, Bruce Thornton beginning this season really the way he began last year. Remember that red-hot November he had? He had that 29-point game in Ohio State's victory over Alabama. And he begins his new season, his junior campaign, with a tremendous performance tonight. 20 points for Thornton. He missed just 3 of his 10 field goals.